Hey guys, how is everybody doing? And this week we got episode 7 of Daredevil Born Again titled Art for Art's Sake. Sorry, I am late coming out with this video. I wanted to watch it yesterday when it came out, but I had stuff going on. I was very, very tired yesterday. I had made a bad choice and stay up longer than I should have the previous night to where I was very tired. I pretty much slept all day to where had no energy to watch the episode, let alone make a video on it. So I pushed it to today, and I finally got a chance to watch it, and so you will be getting my thoughts today. But hey, better late than never, right? And before I go, if and before I start talking about my thoughts about it, I do want to say that for now on, going on for the last 3 episodes, they will be spoiler filled videos because we're at this kind of a point of the show to where to where it's kind of hard to talk about it without kind of spoiling anything. I tried my best last week when 5 and 6 came out, but it was kind of hard not to. So I had to put spoilers in that title. So from now on, I will be going into full spoiler territory. So you have been warned. You will be warned with the title, and if you do look at it. So yeah, I will be talking full spoilers for the rest of Daredevil Born Again for now on, and so I don't know why you'd be watching these videos without even watching the episode, which you should be at this point. And so the recap from last week at the end of episode 6, we finally got to see Matthew dress up as Daredevil once again. He donned the outfit to go after Muse, uh who is this serial killer who is killing people and draining them of their blood and using their blood as graffiti and spray painting it all over the walls. And at that episode, the reason he went after Muse is because he kidnapped White Tiger's niece, who is supposed to be the next White Tiger, pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, which is what happens in the comics, from what I hear. And so he goes after Muse, and those two fought. At the end of the episode, we finally got to see Daredevil come back once again. And not only did we get to see Daredevil back, we also got to see the old Fisk back. And at the end of that episode, we got to see those two show off their true colors. And going into this episode, I was very excited to see what they would offer, and obviously they have capitalized. They have been capitalizing every single episode, and every time you have your expectations high, they just continue to build them, and um, they never fail to decrease your expectations or your excitement for the show, because this episode was awesome. I really enjoyed this episode. This was just another great episode of Daredevil, and this just continues to show that this is one of the best things Marvel has put out in a while, and easily the best MCU show, alongside with Loki. But I haven't finished Loki, but what I saw, I liked it. But this has been my favorite so far, if I ever get around to watching Loki at this point. But yeah, I have been loving this show. So what we follow in this episode is that we kind of follow Fisk a bit more as mayor, and since Daredevil's back, the words on the street are coming out. He hears about it, and obviously, Fisk's main priority as mayor was to get rid of vigilantes. Is that he wanted them gone. He wanted nothing. He wanted to have nothing to do with them. He did not want them trying to get involved with the law, because he wants the officers to do that. He wants people to feel safe, and obviously he has his personal reasons why he doesn't like vigilantes, because obviously Daredevil and him have a past, and Punisher and him have a past. And he has a past with vigilantes, and so he wants to get rid of them for that purpose, and just to make his city feel protected away from vigilantes. And so he finds out that Daredevil is back, and he's kind of contemplated about it. He's also trying to follow Muse a little bit more, since he is a murderer, and he did escape from a fight from Daredevil and stuff like that. So that's kind of the main thing we follow here, and kind of follow that his side of the story and all that, and like his secretaries and stuff like that. We kind of follow that stuff, and moving with that, we do follow Matthew throughout this episode, excuse me, to where, since he's back as Daredevil, people know it. People around him who know he's Daredevil know that he did that, and people around him kind of notice that he's changing a little bit. Even his new girlfriend of the show notices that something is going on, because he got like bruises on his back. He's changing a bit. They barely see him anymore because he's out late doing stuff. Like people around him know there's something going on, and that's the old school Daredevil that we like to see, and that's why you could tell that Matthew has changed a lot throughout this series so far. And the main thing that I loved about this episode, and it's the main thing that I loved about episode 6 and what they've really done with this character, and that is the character of Muse. I talked about him last week when him and Daredevil fought. I have loved what they have been doing with this character and how they've been presenting him because in this episode we get to the point to where we see the person that plays Muse, who is the love interest in Wednesday for Wednesday Adams, who's the boyfriend and who we find out is the monster in that show and all that. He plays Muse in this episode, who did a brilliant job as the character. And in this episode, we find him in this therapy office with Matthew's new girlfriend, and that whole scene was brilliantly written and brilliantly performed by the actors in that scene because it was such a nerve-wracking and tension-sinking type of scene because he just sits there and he's talking about like how he has these weird dreams and how when he was younger his parents forced him to do like martial arts at one point, and then we find out from the detective is that his martial arts teacher was murdered 3 weeks after he joined that class. And well, they suspected that he was murdered, but they bypassed it. And like the very next sequence, they start talking about it's just like, and he goes, I hated him. He was tough on me, but at the same time, I learned something from him. And when he said I learned something from him, my immediate thought is that that's when he switched. That's when he became a whole new person, and that's when he became a psychopath, pretty much. That whole scene where he's slowly starting to have Muse come out, and the therapist, and which is Matthew's girlfriend, slowly starts to see something's changing, and his nose starts to bleed, and he just casually uses it and draws Muse on a piece of paper and stuff like that. And then he dresses up in that outfit, and then there's like this huge nerve-wracking sequence to where he like cuts open the therapist's arm and starts like draining out her blood. Like this character of Muse, they've done a great job of making you just feel uncomfortable whenever he's on the screen or whenever he's just there. Whenever he's there, you just get this very uncomfortable feeling and this nerve-wracking feeling. And I absolutely love that with this episode, and I love that they've been doing that with this character, and that's how they've been presenting him, and I have loved that. That has been amazing throughout the show. I love that they've been doing that with Muse. Now, however, I don't really know what their plan is with this character because, again, spoilers, I shouldn't have to remind you, is that at the end of this episode, Muse does die. Now, I have heard in the comics that he does go to hell of some sort, and he somehow comes out of hell stronger and somehow like worse in a way. Now, I don't know that. I have not read Daredevil comics. I have not read anything on that character, so I have no idea what their plan is. I have no idea what they're going to do. But yes, at the end of this episode, Daredevil and him fight once again, and the therapist shoots Muse and kills him, and that he is suspected dead. Now, I don't think he is dead because there are also stuff on Twitter that it was announced that he would be returning for season 2 of Born Again. Now, again, I don't know what their plan is. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know if that's just false announcements or whatever. But if they are to bring Muse back, I would not be offended by that. I would not be bummed about that because I do want to see more of this character. I feel there's more you can do with that. I don't think he was wasted by any means in this show, but I do feel he could have been used more because that doesn't feel like that's the end of his character. That feels like there's something still there with him. Feels like they're still setting up something with him. I don't know, but I do know that is not the end of that character, and I am oh, excuse me, and I am all down to see him come back for season 2, or maybe he'll still even show up in this show. Who knows what they'll end up doing. And of course, at the end of this episode, we get to see Fisk once again. Not Mayor Fisk, Kingpin Fisk. We get to see him once again because there's just been this mobster guy who's been like manipulating Vanessa in a way, trying to sell him away or try to give him Fisk and all that for reasons I can't remember. And so she tricks him, tells him he's at this restaurant all by himself, and he's sitting there eating. And then Buck, who's the new guy, who was like the lawyer guy from season 1 of Daredevil, he shoots him and gets rid of him. Now that whole scene, I felt like was just really random and didn't need to be there and it didn't really serve a purpose for the show, but it still shows that Kingpin is still around. He's the mayor of the city and he can be a trustworthy guy, but he's still deep down, he's still Kingpin and he's never going to change and he can't change his ways. And I am so excited to if they do it in this show, I am so in this season that to see Daredevil and Kingpin match up once again, to see Matthew and Fisk cross paths once again like they did in episode 1, because that was one of the greatest written scenes in the MCU and in the MCU television series. And so I really want to see those two cross paths once again. That is something I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, this was another great episode. I really enjoyed it. I'm really enjoying what they're doing with that. Unfortunately, we only have 2 episodes left, which is a bummer, but at the same time, I'm really excited for that. I'm assuming by the next episode or the final episode, we'll see Daredevil and Punisher team up finally again. But who knows? I am absolutely excited for the future of this show. I am so excited for the final 2 episodes. I am very excited for season 2, whatever that's going to look like. But yeah, I have loved this show so far. I really loved what they did with this, and I'm really happy to see what Disney is doing with Daredevil after what sounded like was going to be an atrocity what the original version was. But let me know what you guys thought about episode 7 down in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Is this one of your favorite episodes? Is this one of your least favorite episodes? Let me know in the comments below, and we shall talk about it. And if you like this video, like it. If you love to subscribe to the notifications so you will get notified for all my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, see you all next time.